still love you, if I still love you.
Sizzling Saturday. I'm your host, Gina Townsend, and we are on Reflectivity Beyond Black and White, facing our truth, working it out, and we are doing it together. I hope all of you have started off with the things you needed to get done today, the things you wanted to get done today, and maybe you're even kicking back and taking a little bit of a respite. I do have an amazing guest for us today. His name is Dr. Ted Williams. Dr. Williams is an educator, an actor, an author, and he also teaches political science at the City Colleges of Chicago. He's a graduate of the University of Chicago, Rutgers University, and Northern Seminary. His acting credits include NBC Chicago PD, Showtime's The Chi, various films, plays, and commercials for companies including Empire Carpet, Cheerios, and Subway. He's the former host of WYCC PBS Television's The Professors, author of the book, The Way Out, Christianity, Politics, and the Future of the African American Community. And he also is the creator of a musical theater production entitled 1619, The Journey of a People. Please welcome Dr. Ted Williams. Hey, Ted. Welcome. Welcome to Sizzling Saturday and Reflectivity. How's it going?
I'm fantastic. I am happy to be here. I really
I'm happy that you're here as well. So tell me how your week has been, how your Saturday is going.
Yeah, so life is good. I'm at that stage in life where I have 2 children in college and 1 in high school. So dropping off kids one by one to take their next step in their journey, and just trying to my wife and I trying to stay hopeful in the midst of that, because it's oftentimes bittersweet. We want them to go. We're excited about them going, but no one tells you about that life transition that happens when you spend so many years pouring into a child and then they're gone, and you ask them, hey, can you give me a call sometime? Can you check in? Because they're living their best life. And so all of us go through that. We are very blessed, though. And so just doing that and still living my life and living my dreams as I am called to do while I am here on this planet.
Well, that's awesome. And congratulations. Is this 1 down and 3 to go?
It is 2 down and 1 to go.
Okay. So, Ted, what parting advice did you give to your son or daughter?
Well, interesting on a spiritual level. This is, if you want to go there, we've kind of gone into some stuff. So both of my daughters are within an hour and a half of our home, which is a really cool blessing that worked out for us financially. But my middle daughter, who is leaving for the first time, my oldest daughter's she's going to her junior year. And I'm actually teaching at her college in the spring, so I'll be able to see her a little bit. my middle daughter, I'll actually be doing a workshop at her college in the fall. So I'm going to be around a little bit. But her parting gift is we're actually doing a spiritual ceremony with her. We're doing a family baptism. And we're doing something to sort of give her the gift of faith and hope and love to carry on with her. I'm a firm believer that of all the things that she can do while she's at school, she's phenomenally talented. My middle daughter is, and will be involved in theater. She wants to be an English professor. She's also got a STEM brain, which is insane to me. But I do want her to have a grounding in her faith. And so we've been doing some family studies together, and she's in a place where she wants to take that step before she leaves home. And so we're super excited because I just ultimately believe that it's a good foundation for everything that we do in life. And without our faith, where would we be? Not only in my life, my family life, my community's life. And so it's super important. We're excited about that.
Well, and congratulations. And
Thank you.
I think that's some great advice. You know, there is a scripture that says, teach a child in the way that they should go. And when they get old, they won't depart. They may make some mistakes along the way, as we all do. So tell me how you have developed this patience that I see that you have in this process.
Wow. That's a great question. It's that old saying, don't be careful what you pray for. You just might get it. Don't you pray to learn patience, you pray to learn humility, and then you get put in these places where you have to learn. I don't consider myself a patient person by nature. I really don't. I think it has been one of those lessons that's been like, over and over, you're going to get this, you're going to get it, you're going to get it. And, particularly as an artist, I'm an artist and professor. I think as artists, we oftentimes, we want to see things happen quickly. We want to, see our work happen, and it just life doesn't do that. Life is a lot more complicated. There are a lot more, it's a winding road, turns and bends. And I think you just learn over the years that ultimately, if you are doing the right things, you're planting the right seeds, they will grow, but you should enjoy the journey along the way rather than just waiting to get to the end goal. And that's what I've learned through my life and career.
And so with all the things that you have accomplished, let me remind people one more time that he is an educator, an actor, and a minister, because I saw that you went to seminary as well. What did you do when you saw, or how did you handle when you saw a door close?
Oh my gosh, Gina, that is girl, we're gonna need some time for that conversation. You know what I'm saying? We might do that one after the break. Gina, I'm gonna listen. Let me help you out. Okay, we'll do that because I'm telling you, I would love to do that after the break. I'm gonna say this real quickly. I've been blessed to, we've started a ministry. I've got, a couple books I've written. We got these productions. I've been educating. I'm a department chair. I've been doing that for 20 years. I hire faculty and put on community programs, ran for office. A lot of things that I have been able to do in my life that I'm proud of, but I'm looking to really go forward. And I'm gonna give you the short version of this. I'm sure we'll come back.
Well, let's go ahead and because I don't want anybody to miss anything that you're saying. I'm Gina Towns. We're with Ted Williams, and we are coming forward, facing our truth, working it out together on Reflectivity. And welcome forward to Reflectivity. On our sizzling Saturday, we are beyond black and white. We're facing our truth, working it out together with Dr. Ted Williams. Welcome forward to the show, Ted.
Hey, hey, hey. Good to be here.
All right. I could not wait for us to return so that we could talk about those closing doors.
Goodness. All right. So here's the reality. We all are going to face adversity in our pursuits. I don't think that we oftentimes understand how significant part of the journey that adversity is, that we ultimately think that in our minds things are going to happen in a certain way, and life oftentimes changes that. I have been through so much adversity with respect to my career. Most recently, I'll give you a quick example. The most recent and fresh memory is that in my acting work, got booked to do a TV pilot for a company that I was, it was a faith-based piece that was playing a pastor. I'd actually helped to get the main character cast. I was playing a parent to the main character, and there was a very strong relationship there that the whole story was about. I was super excited about it. I had a lot of the stuff going on, but so I wasn't thinking about it a lot, but I was excited about it. And long story short, my agent and I were negotiating kind of travel for me and some other stuff. And I think that, my agent was a little hard in the negotiation. I was maybe looking for some additional sort of time. Like I was trying to be here for my family thing and be over there for this. And I think through that conversation, the back and forth of the negotiation, the casting person, the director's side of that, even though they were wanting to hire me for this major role, that my schedule was just not going to work for them. And so and so we never got a chance to go back. They kind of gave us, hey, just let us know by tomorrow if you guys are still in. We contacted them the next day, and they had already made another decision. And that was really, really crushing for me in a number of ways, professionally and personally, just particularly because I've done this for so long, worked so hard, and I don't get particularly those faith-based roles that are, they have a decent budget, that sort of thing. It doesn't happen all the time. And it's just a meaty role, something I really felt like I could sink my teeth into. And so that door closed, and it bothered me significantly for some time. But the one thing that I've learned in life is that when, there's that old phrase, if it doesn't kill you, it makes you stronger. And I think that sometimes as the biggest no's and closed doors in our lives actually become the biggest yeses for other things that we would be doing. So as I went through this, I said, well, I began to ask myself, why does this bother me so much? What is it? And I really thought about the fact that this is the kind of content that I want to put out into the world, not just as an actor, but as a writer and producer. And so I had some friends of mine that said to me, well, why don't you create the kind of piece that you're trying to be in? And produce it, because I produce as well. And I said, well, you know what, that's that. And so it really became kind of my hero arc, if you will, for this last few months of my life, and has given me the fuel to focus on a project that I have been trying to get done, that I didn't have the fuel to get done, and that this really pushed me to do that. And so every time a door closes, another one opens, right? They always say that if you can't find a seat at the table, what I think it was that you pull up a chair or something like that. Well, I'm of the mind that, you make your own table, right? Door closes, you make your own door, you create your own opportunities. And that's just kind of where we are. And that's a thing I think for this generation, this season that we're in the world, people are doing that in the media, whether it's film, TV, the whole nine, or whatever they're doing. I don't think that there is the patience for the old guard in the same way that when maybe you and I were coming up, where you kind of waited, you did your time, you paid your dues. I think people today are like, look, I have the talent, skill. I'm just going to make this happen. And I've been learning to do that more. And so I just am a firm believer, again, that if one door closes in your life, when you get a no, it is truly, you're just getting a step closer to your yes. It doesn't feel good, but it is the truth. And right now, my life is flourishing artistically, professionally, and otherwise. And I think some of it has to do with the closed doors that I've experienced just recently.
And what was really interesting when you said you have the talent and the skill, but a lot of people don't have the time to actually do it. And especially when you consider people who have moved to Los Angeles, and I don't know who all I'm speaking to today, that gave up whatever they were doing, wherever they were, and made the trip to Los Angeles to try to pursue their dreams. I remember when Lisa Ray asked me to come out with her. She came out with Sally Richardson at the same time. I was afraid to leave my job. I was afraid not to be able to take care of my responsibilities. And I don't know whether I necessarily regret that or not, but there are those times when you do have to jump through a door if you see it cracked or whatever. But what about now in this economy and people trying to have another job to make ends meet, but they're still trying to pursue their dreams? And here's the other thing with you that I find pretty amazing is that you have time to teach. And so time is something that I really want us to dig into to help everyone that's listening. I don't care, the age or stage, the generation that you're in order to still pursue, because I know some people don't pursue some things until they get older. Maybe they've got to get their children out of the house. So how do you prioritize and how do you make time even when it's difficult?
Yeah, so you and I come from a similar church community, and at one point, one of the ministers that we knew used to always talk about that he was the most disciplined person that he knew. That of all his friends and family, they've always asked him how he could get so much done. He said, "The most disciplined person I know." Well, I don't think that I'm the most disciplined person I know. Let me make that very clear. I do not, but I do try to engage in heavy levels of discipline. I get up very early. I get up at 5 every day. I go to the gym 5:30. I'm there. I do my workout. I'm back at 7:30. And then I'm doing my meditation and my writing for the day. And then I'm getting into emails at 8. And then at 9 o'clock, I'm taking meetings, 9:30. And then my day is gone. It's rolling, right? And I really try to make sure that I've accounted for all of my time. Not that we don't need breaks, not that we don't need the opportunity to be refreshed and create, but I realize time is such a significant resource that I don't want to waste it. I oftentimes people go, "Man, you've written plays and you've written books," and I'm like, I was just literally talking to a friend of mine earlier who writes novels. And I'm thinking, man, I've written a couple of things. It's kind of cool. And he goes, "Yeah, I literally write every day. I write 1,000 words every day," is what he said. Every day I wake up, I write 1,000 words. He goes, "There's no way I can write novels without doing that." And he goes, he said to me, he goes, "Why don't you get up and write every day for 30 minutes? At least just start there every day." And I said, "You know what? I can commit to that. I will do that." Because waiting for the inspiration to come, the inspirational birth, it just doesn't happen. A lot of artists and creative types will stay up half the night and we get inspiration. But how often does those inspirations come, right? I can't wait to be inspired to go to the gym. I can't wait to be inspired to go eat right or do something. I can't wait to be inspired to go to work. I've got to find that inspiration through my discipline. And so some days you go in the gym and you ain't really feeling it, but you did something. And it's better to be there, right? Be in the house of the Lord, as they say. It's better to be in the house of the Lord.
Well, working out is a religion. I mean, a lot of things that we're talking about are a religion because you do them repeatedly.
Yes,
and you develop a discipline in that respect. And I think that's a very interesting thing that you bring up because, one, writing is therapeutic. I mean, sometimes if you're just writing, a lot of people keep a diary. I haven't kept a diary in God knows how long, but I thought about that. I mean, I remember when Oprah told people to keep a grateful journal or a thankful journal or something like that about things that you were grateful for. And perhaps someone did something for you and you documented and maybe you returned that later. I do think those are all very handy little skills that you can use to move forward in life. But I thought, as you were talking, I was like, this guy here is a bundle of energy. Like, where do you get your inspiration from?
So faith first, right? Secondly, let me say this. I have phenomenal parents. My mother, God rest her soul, she's been gone for 5 years. My father, I'll give you a quick story. My father was, when I was a kid, was a car dealer. He grew up as a car dealer, ended up becoming a McDonald's operator. He owned 2 McDonald's before he retired. He met my mother when she walked into a car dealership trying to buy a car. She was trying to buy a manual stick shift. She didn't know how to drive it. He was such a good salesman. He sold her a car she didn't know how to drive and agreed for her to take lessons from him. And that's how
How cute is that?
Exactly.
That's a man with a plan right there. That's okay. Now I get it.
A man with a plan, right? And I was born. I was born 9 months later, right? And so my father was a salesman at heart. He was in college, played football, dropped out of school, went to buy a car, and he negotiated so well the salesman hired him on the spot. So what I see is I come from, and this is the beauty of our community. We don't often talk about how phenomenal the people that we come from are. And I have to pay homage to them and my grandparents as well, who laid the foundation for them to be able to do this work. So I felt, Gina, there was nothing, what else was I supposed to do, right? My father moved us to an exclusive community country club community when I was 12 years old with an indoor pool. And I went to private school, and I was one of the only Black kids there. So I was like, everybody knows me. I may as well run for class president. I won twice. And my mother was working at the University of Notre Dame. And whenever I would go, Mom, I'm not sure if I'm going to college, because I want to go be an actor. She goes, you're going to be an actor and you're going to go to college. I mean, I finished my first degree. She goes, well, what's up with the next one? I said, Mom, I'm tired. Go get another degree. Finished my second degree. She goes, what are you doing? I said, Mom, I'm working on plays. She said, you can work on plays and you can go get a third degree. And I went and got a third degree. And so what happens is that we are a product of the people that have poured into us. And I'm so honored to be able to share about them because they mean so much to me and everything they've done. And so I had no choice. So when I look at my life, my own children, I say, you guys, it's not that it's about being busy. It's about using the gift of life to the fullest that we have here. And I believe a lot of it has to do with outward accomplishments, but I believe a lot of what we do on this earth has to do with how we treat people as well. And I learned that along the way from my mom, my dad as well, that it's not just about having a lot of titles. It's about everywhere you work. Do the janitors feel respected by you? Does the CEO feel respected by you? Everyone should. And that is who I learned to be. And what else can I do when you come from people that push you in that way?
And I know a lot of people feel that when you walk in the room, there is a bright light that's shining and people are attracted to that light. When we come forward, I do want to follow up on something, that you've said here with regard to that family lineage. I think that it's such a catch-22, especially in the African-American community. For people who have both parents in the house, who have a strong family unit that they can, draw from, that they can push together. And I think about certain communities. I see people, in Georgia. I mean, certain communities will move to the United States and they will be 10 deep in the house. Yeah. They've got the grandparents, the, auntie and uncle, great auntie and uncle, and they all work together to buy house after house after house so that they can all live in. But we have not been really afforded, that type of opportunity and generational wealth like that. And so when we come forward, I do want to discuss how you are mentoring your students to be able to walk in the steps that you've walked, because sometimes if you don't have it at home, it's going to be an instructor. It's going to be someone who is leading you, in a church environment or social organization environment. Thank you so much for sharing what you shared. I'm Gina Towns. We are doing Reflectivity Beyond Black and White. When we come forward, we will continue our conversation with Dr. Ted Williams. It's sizzling. I'm Gina Towns, and welcome to Reflectivity Beyond Black and White. It's a sizzling Saturday in Los Angeles and across the country. I do want to take a moment to pause and pray for a lot of the people across the country and around the world who have experienced some sort of weather event that has pretty much interrupted their entire lives. Certainly, there have been tornadoes and earthquakes around the world. So I don't want to forget to think about others as we are reflecting. In our conversation today, I am joined by Dr. Ted Williams. Ted, thank you for joining us, and come on forward, Ted. Hey, Ted.
All right. Hey.
I took a moment in just to remember all of the people who are displaced, if you will, and certainly in Los Angeles, the community is not unfamiliar when weather events happen. But now that we've come forward, I was also talking about, a student in a community, that has to have mentorship and people who are in the community. And even in this time when we're thinking about, what people are going through because of circumstances not of their own making. How do we mentor people? How do you even seek a mentor in that type of environment? Because you have had a long line of people who had an expectation, which then makes you have an expectation of yourself. And it's just like, that's a generational wealth. It may not be monetary, but it is certainly a treasure to have in your life.
I was just talking to someone that I respect very highly, someone as well. We had a conversation, and they're pretty accomplished in their lives. And we were just sort of talking about career. And I'm, at the stage where, I don't know, I'm not, planning to stop doing stuff anytime soon. But, I do have enough behind me that I can look back and see some things, on the road. And I was talking to them about some ambitions, and they started talking to me about the thousands literally of students that I've mentored in my time working in the college space, community college space, university space as well. And those who've gone on to do phenomenal things, and those who've gone on to do average things that were still phenomenal for them and for their community and their people. And I realized that after that, there is nothing more fulfilling than knowing that you have had an impact on someone else's life. Mm-hmm. There's no amount of money. There's no amount of titles or accomplishments. And sometimes in our society, we don't see that as the goal. We don't see impact as the goal. And yet when we're gone from this place, which we all have a date to leave, what we have done in the spiritual realm and other people's lives and bearing fruit in the lives of other people, that's all that we have at the end of the day. Mm-hmm. We can't take our cars, we can't take our houses, we can't take our clothes. The awards, I've got a bunch of awards I won from groups and stuff. I'm proud of those, but those will go in a box somewhere. Maybe my kids will put them up somewhere for a while.
Or maybe they won't. I'm just saying.
Or maybe they won't, Gina. Come on, Gina, you got to help me. I was being hopeful, but you're right, because I have I have a deceased parent, and I've got some of her stuff up, and some of her stuff is in a box. So there you go.
I try to tell people, don't keep all this stuff in your house thinking your kids want it. They don't even want the stuff that you're keeping. They're sippy cups. Stop playing with me right now. They're 27 years old. Why do you have a sippy cup in your cupboard?
Exactly. So, so I just, I'm convinced that when we can bear fruit in other people's lives, I think about, we've talked often about Reverend Jackson and Dr. King and people like that who have laid out a path, and then what they did was multiplied in the lives of children and grandchildren and mentees, and that, Gina, is what it comes down to for me. And and that's real wealth. Mm-hmm. That's real wealth.
That's one of those things that I think that we can stick into our reflectivity beyond black and white box, because you have to be selfless in order to arrive at that conclusion. at the end of the day, if you are placing value on what you have left or given to someone else, that means you've operated in your life with an open hand, not a closed fist. And in that respect, people can put something else in it. If you're walking around with your fist closed all the time and you're just about yourself, you really probably do not enjoy all of what life has to offer for you. Whereas when your hand is open, you can give and you can also receive. So certainly I applaud you in that. And that's one of those man in the mirror moments for all of us, because what you said too was, well, I've gotten to a point in my life. Well, what is the point, that we get to where we feel like we've accomplished enough, or we've done enough, we've given enough, we've encouraged enough. And I tell my mom so many times as she got older, and I know she was surprised because all of the people, her brothers and sisters and whatnot, had passed in their 80s. And so by the time she got to 92, 93, 94, and she'd get mad with me because I didn't let her drive anymore, she'd say, well, you won't have to worry about it when I'm gone and I don't have that much longer. I'm like, you don't know what you have. But, so we do have to consider, how much we can still give, even when we think the time is up. And that's, we can't close that door.
No, we can't. And I think saying yes to people within limit and being open to experiences, it has been fundamentally life altering for me. When we allow ourselves to engage and give to other people, we really are blessed. I think I don't know that we understand that enough. We really are blessed more, right? By generosity. The scriptures teach that a generous man will prosper. He who refreshes others will himself be refreshed. And so I am literally, I walk around when I'm teaching like a kid in a candy store, because the energy that I get back from these students, it's worth $1 million. And so, and I found so many people that are in my field, in the political space or the artistic space, who've come back at the end of their careers, like begging to get in the classroom, begging to be able to take all of their experiences and share them with someone that can use them. What a privilege. What a privilege.
It is a privilege. And I'm really happy that you have been able to knit all of these things together. I think sometimes in our lives, we have to be able to take all of the things and get ourselves a little bit of yarn and some needles and put them together so that we see our own quilt and certainly encourage ourselves.
I have a word about that, Gina, if we got a second. If not, let me know. But I got a word
Please
about
go ahead.
that. I've spent my life knitting that quilt, right? It is so important that we, the Greeks say that one of the greatest things you can do is to know thyself. And so when you spend time developing who you are and figuring it out, it comes together. I have come with my own mission statement in my life. I'm an educator, right, who utilizes the arts to educate and transform communities. I understand what my purpose is, and many people may look and go, oh, well, you do this, you do that, you do this. No. I do one thing. It's a tree with branches. And so I've been able to help my students and my children to understand what is your tree, what are your roots, and what are your branches. And that, I think, helps us to have a sane, effective, productive, and fruitful life.
And you certainly have that. We're going to find out a little bit more when we come forward. We'll be facing our truth together on Reflectivity. I'm your host, Gina Townsend. to Reflectivity Beyond Black and White. And certainly we have been in an amazing conversation. Thank you for joining us. Dr. Ted Williams has been our guest. Welcome back, Ted. Ted, we are facing our truth today. We're working it out together. And thank you for the help that you have been giving us as we've been doing that. We talked about all of the things that you've done and the inspiration that you've been inside of the classroom, inside of the theater, and certainly for the people that are around you. But I note that you also take this spirit and your skill set to the community. And that's why we start with Reflectivity, that man in the mirror, so that you're whole, you can do what you need to do at home with your family, and then you take that out in the community. And I noticed that you are part of the Illinois Reparations Commission. Tell me a little bit about reparations in Illinois, because I hear people talking about reparations. I have my own thought about receiving a $25,000 check and what that might mean for our community, and if that's part of the greater good for our community, because I think that when you add it up, it's certainly more of a reparation that is required than $25,000. And I know this is a conversation that goes on, off and on all over the country. In Los Angeles, certainly there has been that conversation about the fires in Altadena. And a lot of people have a lot of different thoughts about reparations. Tell me your involvement and how you got to that space.
Yeah, so I did not start off as a reparations proponent. I started off as someone wanting to figure out how we affect change in our communities. And for me, all roads ended up leading to this space. Now, if I may expand the scope of the conversation just slightly, because I think it actually helps people when you talk about these political issues to talk about these things with different language. And so the term I would like to put on the table as we discuss this is the term reparative justice.
That's much better, isn't it?
Yeah, it is reparative justice. Now, we can have that conversation. And now, Gina, we've opened this up completely. We've moved beyond a $25,000 check.
That's correct.
We have moved to the question of what do we need to do in this society to affect justice for those who have been denied it for so long? What do we need to do to repair the agreed upon, very clear, non-controversial fact that we went through 250 years of slavery in this country, 100 years of Jim Crow segregation, redlining, discrimination in housing, education, healthcare, you name it. I mean, I can't imagine that anybody with any sense could argue that the damage has been ubiquitous, right, with respect to racial injustice in this country, particularly towards African Americans. So now, whether you have a thought about what we should do about it or not, it's a whole other story. But even the most conservative folks who could care less about civil rights and like that can at least acknowledge, man, this is a messed up situation that folks have been through. So we can at least agree on that. And now what do we talk about? How do we repair? What do we do? The wealth gap in this country is growing. Okay, African Americans have 1/10 the wealth of our European American counterparts, 1/10 the wealth. And most economists have suggested that if we do nothing, it would take over 200 years to actually move us towards closing this gap. Over 200 years, right? So we have 200 years to wait to have full equality. That's the real question. And so the United States government in 1865 recognized, in terms of freeing the 4 million enslaved Africans who had just come through we finished the Civil War, we're moving forward, 1865, 1877, the Reconstruction era. They said, what should we do? What should we do to help to bring some level of economic stability to these folks? Freedom without the freedom to eat is not true freedom, okay? Freedom on paper without economic viability is not true freedom. So Abraham Lincoln recognized we had to have reparations and repair. Andrew Johnson recognized it to a certain degree because what they did, even after Lincoln died, was put forth this field order, General Sherman's field order number 15, to set aside 400,000 acres of land from South Carolina to Florida for the newly freed African Americans. Johnson allowed it to be rolled up because he had no commitment to it. But even there, it was okay, we'll do this. And 6 months later, it all dried up when the southern states were upset about it. So we have an uncashed check in this country. We have an unfulfilled commitment to equality to African Americans. How we get there, Gina, I am completely, in many ways, I am flexible. I am open with how we get there. We can talk about checks. We can talk about education. We can talk about investments. We can talk about
land.
We can talk about land. We can talk about whatever we want to. But I'm not willing to not talk about it at all. If that makes sense.
That's right.
And so when we get into the reparations conversations, back to reparations, people eventually, like, ultimately go, well, cash, that's that kind of thing. And I'm saying, let's take this off the table for a second. And let's ask the fundamental question: is there injustice to be repaired in this country? Not just towards us, but towards the indigenous as well. And a couple other groups, but no one like African Americans. And I think that needs to be very clear as well. They're a very unique crime, which requires unique restitution. Absolutely. And restitution is a legal principle that is universal in our understanding of what happens in the law. When someone does something, breaks something, they have the legal obligation to fix it. That's a spiritual principle as well. And we look at repair within the biblical context. Atonement is what we call it in Scripture. So that is the short version of this work. We've been doing the commission for 4 years, close to 4 years now, working on about 3 years, actually, working on large scale recommendations, which we have just released a report. We are one of 3 commissions in the entire country at the state level: California, New York, and Illinois. There are multiple commissions at local levels, municipalities, but people are really engaged around the country in this work. People of all different ethnicities. Yeah. Understanding that we don't get to equality unless we go backwards and start healing and fixing the past.
Absolutely. It is an apology and some action. I have really, really enjoyed this conversation. I know we could really expand upon this particular topic, and maybe when you return at some point and come back on Reflectivity, we will absolutely do that. I think even for ourselves and what we've discussed today, there are some reparative things we need to do in our own personal lives. Relationships that need to be repaired doesn't mean that you go back and repeat the same things that you did, or even restore the relationship to what it was. But it does mean reconciliation and reparation. And reparative justice will be the term for the week in our own lives. And hopefully we can take that out into the communities that we're in. Ted, thank you so much for the nuggets of wisdom that you've shared with us today. And I pray that we can just take them throughout the week, hold to them, and make them part of our lives. We have faced some truth, and we are in the process of working it out because it's all beyond black and white. I'm your host, Gina Towns. Thank you for joining us on KBLA Talk 1580. We will see you when we come forward next week on Sizzling Saturday.